My name is Elena Ward and I'm 33 years old. For 15 years, my wealthy parents treated me like their personal servant, while my younger sister, Vanessa, lived like royalty. Every holiday, every family gathering, I was in the kitchen while she entertained guests. But last Christmas Eve, when my mother demanded I cook for 30 of Harper's VIP friends with just 24 hours' notice, something inside me finally snapped. What happened next didn't just change our family dynamic, it exposed a secret that left everyone, including a Fortune 500 CEO, completely speechless. Before I tell you how I went from being the family maid to having my parents beg for my forgiveness, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy stories about justice being served. I'd love to know where you're watching from and what time it is there. Drop a comment below. I read every single one. Now let me take you back to that December evening when everything changed. I was in my Seattle apartment, carefully folding clothes into my suitcase when my phone rang. The caller ID showed Mom, and I already knew this wouldn't be a pleasant conversation. In our Lake Oswego family home, Christmas decorations sparkled on every surface. I knew because I had been the one hanging them every year since I was 17. Elena, cancel whatever silly plans you have for tomorrow, my mother, Victoria Ward Bennett, said without even a hello. Her voice had that familiar commanding tone that allowed no argument. I continued folding my business blazer. What's happening tomorrow? I asked. Vanessa's hosting her networking group for Christmas Eve dinner. Very important people, Elena, 30 VIP guests, including executives from Luminara Resorts. She paused, and I could practically hear her smirk through the phone. You'll need to arrive by noon to start cooking. 7 main courses, 10 sides, the menu's already planned. My fingers tightened around my phone. Vanessa's networking group, of course. My younger sister worked in PR and never missed a chance to remind everyone how connected she was. Mom, I have plans, I said, trying to stay calm. Plans can wait, she snapped. Your sister's making important connections that benefit this family. You should be grateful to help. It's not like you have anything else going on. Her words sliced through me, sharp and practiced. I glanced at my laptop where an email from Naomi Park, CEO of Luminara Resorts, glowed on the screen. If only my mother knew. Use the good china, she continued. These aren't your usual crowd, Elena. These are people who matter. People who matter, unlike me, apparently. I'll text you the menu, she added. Don't embarrass us. The line went dead. I looked down at my plane ticket to Scottsdale, Arizona. Departure time, 8 p.m. tomorrow. My hand wasn't even shaking anymore. After 15 years of this, I'd finally learned the difference between their emergency and my priority. I sat on my bed, memories flooding back like a bitter tide. 15 years of being invisible, except when they needed something. Every Thanksgiving since I was 17, Elena will handle the cooking while Vanessa entertains our guests. Every Christmas, Elena's between jobs again, but at least she's useful in the kitchen. Every family gathering where Vanessa was introduced as our successful daughter in public relations, while I was merely. Elena's here too, she's helping out. The last family party had been the worst. Vanessa's engagement celebration, 200 guests at the Oswego Country Club. I'd spent 14 hours preparing appetizers while she held court in a $4,200 designer gown our parents had bought her. When a guest asked what I did for work, my mother had laughed. Elena doesn't have Vanessa's social skills, but she cooks well. Everyone chuckled, and I smiled like it didn't sting. I stood and opened my closet, pulling out my second suitcase. Inside, carefully protected in a leather folder, was the contract that would change everything. My company's name, Aurora Event Collective, was embossed in gold at the top. I had deliberately chosen a name that didn't include Ward. For 5 years, I had built my empire in silence. 50 employees across 3 locations. A client list that included luxury resorts and Fortune 500 companies. And tomorrow, while my family expected me to slave over their stove, I had a meeting that could secure a $2.3 million contract. The irony wasn't lost on me as I continued packing. 2 clear signs had shown me exactly where I stood in this family, and I had ignored them for far too long. The first sign was how they introduced me. At last month's dinner at Oswego Country Club, my father had proudly told one of his golf buddies, Vanessa's our success story. Elena's between opportunities, I had closed a $600,000 deal that very morning, but to them I was perpetually unemployed, perpetually failing. They never asked about my work. Never wondered how I could afford my Queen Anne Hill penthouse in Seattle or my new car. Their assumptions were absolute. When I mentioned traveling for business once, my mother had laughed. What business? Are you calling your little cooking hobby a company? The second sign was even more blatant. Last summer, when I visited home, I found my childhood bedroom had been converted into storage space for Vanessa's overflow wardrobe. Trophies, books, everything that marked my existence in that house was neatly packed and stored in the basement. Vanessa needs the space, my mother had explained, as if that made perfect sense. She's building her career. Image matters in PR. Meanwhile, Vanessa had been given the entire third floor fully renovated at our parents' expense. The message couldn't have been clearer. One daughter was an investment, the other was invisible. I zipped my suitcase and walked to my desk, glancing at a photo of my Aurora Event Collective team taken last week. 50 people, designers, chefs, coordinators, who saw my worth every single day. They were the proof of what I had built while my family looked the other way. My phone buzzed again, a text from Mom, "Don't forget the truffle oil. These people have sophisticated palates. These people." As if I didn't regularly cater for CEOs and celebrities, but why would she know? She'd never asked. The cruelest part wasn't their disapproval, it was their indifference. Not once in 5 years had anyone in my family asked, "So, Elena, what exactly do you do all day?" They didn't need the truth, they preferred their illusion.